Good morning, Lee. We're going to have another big day today. So we got you some stuff. So our first thing is we have you a railroader hat. So you want to put that on. That would be like something you'd work on the railroad with. And of course, all good railroaders had a bandana. So you want to put your bandana on. And what this is for, you'd put it around your mouth, soot, that sort of stuff if you're working on the train, you know, so you can breathe a little. And then we got you a nice railroader vest right here.
Looks like you stuck it again, George.
We got for every railroad worker needs a tool. Good luck, kid. And here we are. This is our 19th century original, one of the original parts of the train station here in Galveston. So it's very well preserved, wonderful museum here that they've done a lot of work on to preserve that.
Was this a depot?
This is one of the depots. So here we could come over here. This was like, you'd come up here, and if we were traveling, we'd buy our ticket here from the ticket taker. He'd tell us what time the train's going. We take our pass. We could look at our watch, see what time we might have a little time to kill. We could get refreshments over here. We could sit down, but who wants to sit down with a bunch of noisy kids? So you could come over here, you get your latest magazine, and then you come down here, get your newspaper from different parts of the country, and you could sit here and wait for your train. If you needed to make a phone call, we have telephone booths over there. And this was a very elegant. They would have always kept this floor highly polished, all the brass shine, information things. So this was the height of luxury. This is transportation.
So George, this is a perfect place. Railroad Museum, got the history.
So here's this kind of timeline of railroads in Texas and Galveston, because it's all interconnected. Remember, it's all one big system that's interconnected with the world, with the United States. So 1840s, remember, we're a very busy port, stagecoach, looking at railroads. If you look at the rail down here, if you notice, this is very different from a modern rail. It's much smaller. So the rails are a little different, and they will develop different sizes, different widths this time period. Later, they will all become standardized clear across the country. 1850, we get the first locomotive called the General Sherman. Now the General Sherman, this is not the Civil War General Sherman. This is Sidney Sherman, who we have a statue of in Galveston. He's a hero of the Texas Revolution. 1860, more modernized. Civil War is coming along. We're getting our first trestle across the bay, picks up transportation, picking up. 1870, docks, everything's busy. This is the port, this is commerce. Thousands of people in and out of the port, thousands of people in and out of Galveston on these rails. We've got a port here. We've got rail lines. So this is on the pathway to the world. So the port, we connect up to the world. Goods from central, middle Texas come in from all over the countries are shipped out this port. Cotton and things, stuff that's shipped into this port is loaded onto these rail trains and shipped inland. Immigrants coming in here, going to inland. So this is like a modern airport. This would be like a modern airport. 1890s, a little more modernization. We get the first parts of this train station are built. 1900, the year of the Great Storm, but before that, we're going to have carts, trolleys that are pulled by mules. Later, that will develop into an electric trolley. So that's why now transportation, now I don't have to walk to work. I can jump on a trolley car, which means I can live a little further away, which means the city spreads out more. So that's going to happen all over the country. This public transportation will change the way how we design our cities and live. 1910. This is when the starting of the causeway, the Otto Causeway. Now notice it's called Otto. Houston Interurban, which is that electric railroad that comes from Houston to Galveston. That's the one we're talking about. A little over an hour and a half, downtown Houston to Galveston. 1920, Henry Ford, automobiles are starting to come in by big time. 1930s, this is when the current building we have now out there is built.
So we walk out this depot doors, we are smack dab on the Strand.
And we are right here on the Strand, the Wall Street of the South. Now, think of this. This is the connection point to the world. We go get on a ship, we can go anywhere in the world. This railroad is a connection point to the United States. So to use the old real estate thing, location, 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 and they build in the best location this railroad station.
This is interesting. In 1950s, that's when they started putting basically tractor trailer like a...
Yes, so this is very new. Now you think our containers now,
Yeah.
This is part of it.
The merging of rail and auto and...
Hooks it all together. Much more efficient.
Oh, wow, this is 1960. This is the
Santa Fe, Texas Chief.
last run.
Last run, 1960. So by 1960, it's all past. This railroad is going...
Entering the realm of nostalgia.
Entering realm of nostalgia. That's exactly right.
Okay, but so in the 1970s, we had high horsepower locomotives serving Galveston.
And here we are now, modern day. It's a museum, and this is nostalgia back in, but it's a something that needs to preserve, part of our history, part of the American history for all of us that we have a connection to. So fortunately, it's been preserved here.
So let's go check out the inside.
Yeah,
let's
look in this one.
How's it compared to the modern day Amtrak?
And you can see this is a more modern, but look at all the stainless steel, the chrome in here. Very nice looking car, very elegant. All this would have been shined. Railroad workers took great pride in the look of their train. You come in, this is a restaurant car. You can get a nice meal here for reasonable cost as you're traveling along the country.
So in the Railroad Museum, there's all that beautiful china, and
Yes.
it's nice serviceware. We're not talking paper plates.
So this would have been a very nice dining for and the china would have been specific to the railroad and sometimes to the line. Just like on an airliner, old airliners, they don't have it now, but you would have specific silverware and china for that railroad. Blankets also. So this was considered luxury travel, something along this line.